Show how to create a macro. A couple ways to do it. Let's start with an existing ticket. So say you're working on a ticket with a customer and you've just sent an amazing message back to the customer. I am not one that does amazing messages, but let's just say like, hey, it was great chatting with you today. We're going to assume that there's a lot more content in this awesome message, but we'll leave it at that. Once I send that message off to the customer, I can go back to that ticket and reuse that same reply. Okay, so notice it says, hey, it was great chatting with you today. I can go to that same ticket and I can, from the drop down, select create as macro. When you do that, it's going to pop open the macro editor and it's going to pre-populate all of the values that were on that ticket that we just were on. So the status was open, that ticket was marked as an incident, it was assigned to this person, these were the tags that were on that ticket, and here is the last public comment that was made on that ticket. Okay, so this method allows you to quickly create macros on the fly as they're happening, and reuse that content over and over again, quick and easy. So I just wanted to show that's one quick way to make a macro. The second is just through like the admin interface. So we can get to this same place. So if we know of content that we send regularly, you can just come in here, you can hit the gear, and then you'll browse to macros. And you'll see all of the macros that have currently been activated in the instance. You can create a personal macro if you change the drop-down list. You can make your own macros. Maybe you have something like that you like to say at the end of every message. You could create your own macro by clicking the Add Macro button there. The administrator can also create team-wide macros. So the same process here, you just click Add Macro, give it a name, something that the team will recognize, define any actions, so set, for example, tags, statuses, but the most important is right here, the comment/description. That's going to be added automatically into the comment, the public comment on that ticket. Now, a good handy macro, one that is going to save your team time, is to leverage placeholders. So for example, if you have, you can bring in different values dynamically into your macro. So hey, let's pull the requester first name. We'll copy that, we'll paste it in. So now our macro is going to say hey, and then whatever the requester's first name is as it's saved inside Zendesk. Great chatting with you today. Okay, and we'll call this macro just we'll call this greeting 1. Okay, it's available for all agents, and all we're going to do is have a comment and a description. Okay, you can also choose to have a plain text fallback, and you can read here, it's pretty straightforward. Certain channels don't allow for HTML or rich content. So you could write this macro as well in a plain text format. That way you don't have to have two macros that are formatted differently. I guess we should mention formatting. You do have within the rich content macro part here, we could do like, we could have a bold text in here, bold. We could have some different formatting. Maybe we have an image, maybe we have a link to our return policy or whatever that is. You can build a nice formatted message in here, and then have the plain text version down below, right? No bold. We'll leave that part out, right? Okay, so that's a macro. You can add multiple actions. So if we wanted to also set the tags, or if we also wanted to maybe set a category or a status, we could do that at any point. So we could say when we use this macro, we also want to mark that ticket as solved. Okay, so let's check it out. Greeting number 1. We're going to create it as a macro. Now we're going to jump into a ticket. Right, and here's that same ticket. We sent them a message just moments ago. The macro browser is down here at the bottom of the ticket form. Right, and there is our macro, greeting one. It's important to note that when you click in that box, you can search. So if you start to get a lot of macros, you can also type in there to jump on it. Right, slap in greeting one. It's going to bring in our customer whose name is Sample. Bring in the formatting. Everything is ready to go. It flipped the status to solved. So we just saved a ton of time for our agent. All we have to do is click Submit as Solved, and the macro has done its job. All right, thanks.